Hey folks, Nercoids once again, and this is probably part 5 of the Rosa build, or I can't keep track, whatever it is. And today we're going to do something a bit more eventful. We're actually going to put together the body. Now, I've already put in the Tremolo bridge, or the vibrato bridge. What I need to do next is just to clean up the body just a little bit, because I still haven't touched this in a few days. I still have to get rid of all the wood chips and the residual wax and all that, and this should clean up just nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the basic anatomy of your typical Stratocaster type guitar, which should be fun. Okay, let's get started. Now I've cleaned off the body a little bit. For now, there's still a little bit of wax residue here and there, but we'll deal with that later. Just want to get this out of the way, show you the anatomy of basically of about probably 80% of Stratocasters out there are Stratocaster knockoffs or clones, or even the better counterfeits, I suppose. This one's a little different. Normally there are 3 types of bodies that you deal with. It doesn't matter if it's left-handed or right-handed. You have these where you have individual slots for each pickup, like here. This one here has a humbucker route on it, but it doesn't matter what the bottom here is like. Some have them for individuals, some have them like this, and have 2 humbuckers and 1 single coil in the middle, and others have what they call a pool, where basically all of this here is open. It's all one big chamber, and that's desired for several reasons, because it gives you the option of dropping in all kinds of pickup combinations. However, you lose quite a bit in terms of mass of the wood, and it does affect the tone a little bit from what I've been reading online. Usually if you want to have a fuller sound, it's best to have as much wood as possible. Of course, this adds to the weight, but this is alder, so it's pretty light to begin with. So I decided to go in the middle and get one with a humbucker route here. It's also easier to fit in too, that way it's not as critical of a fit. And if you're wondering what these holes are, this hole goes to the input jack, which is right here, with these 2 solder points here. Right, and that's usually the very last thing that gets plugged in, so that, and the wire comes out here, and this hole here goes to the back. And oh, got some specs here. And what it is that you have a claw that comes along like this. There's going to be 2 screws, and it's not flush all the way in. There's some leeway, and here's the tremolo block. For sustain and whatnot. You hook one spring in here, the other gets onto the hook right here, and you have yourself a ball game. It adds some tension. Because this is going to be a baritone guitar and that there's going to be some heavy strings, I'm going to use all 4 that came with this particular tremolo. And of course, I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. These ones are interchangeable, and the reason why you solder a wire onto here from the rest of the electronics, that's the way this grounds, because this directly touches the strings, which come through these holes here, and that's what makes this grounded. Now, a lot of people, what they like to do, and I'm not going to do it in this guitar because it's not really necessary, is that they like to put a lot of conductive paint in here to give it some sort of shielding, or they like to put some copper or even aluminum foil in here. It's not really necessary on a Stratocaster, simply because usually the center pickup here is counterwound from the 2 others here, so that when you use 2 pickups, it cancels the hum. It has a sort of a humbucker effect to it. And that's pretty much it for the body. And of course, you saw the video about me putting in the tremolo, or the vibrato. Actually, it's supposed to be the vibrato. And now here's the pickguard. Now, I did the lazy thing and got myself a loaded pickguard. And what they mean by loaded pickguard is that the pickups come included, along with the pots and the switch, and the wiring's pretty much all done for you. You basically have to solder 3 wires, and it comes from the switch. Basically, this goes down to the claw that's underneath the guitar, and these 2 wires here go out to the jack, and the rest of the wiring's done for you. These are the pots, of course. Pretty decent electronics. I remember I had put an extra capacitor over here. I took it out because this is not needed, because this little wire here makes the capacitor work for both tones here. So, for those who want to know, these are ceramic pickups. And whenever you see a bar like this is not foam. Whenever you see a bar like this, it means it's a ceramic bar. And Alnico ones are the ones where you basically can see the pole pieces through and through. That's your typical Alnico ones. These are ceramics. And just a little note about ceramics versus Alnicos. Use your ears. Both are good. These pickups actually sound pretty good. They have a decent amount of signal to them. I'm sure if you go look at the Rosa reviews, when I'm able to turn the tone up and not screw everything up, they sound great. So, and that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a relatively simple appliance, a guitar, and it's pretty simple to drop in. I still have to put in the other matching pickup covers. Give it a nice cream color, and I've actually discovered that these here match very well with my all maple neck, because it's a very similar color, and I think it's actually going to be a very nice looking guitar. Now, I'm not going to film myself installing everything, because that's kind of boring, because there's a lot of drilling pilot holes and whatnot, and it was just too long, and this would make this like a 2-hour video, and I don't want to do that kind of stuff. I mean, my longest video right now is 22 minutes or 23 minutes, and I'm pretty sure it was a snore fest. So when we get back to it, hopefully all this is going to be assembled, and I'll show you the final result. Alright, so I have the claw in, as you can see. I'm not sure whether there's a problem with it being on an angle. As long as it's lower than this and the cover can go on top. I'm going to be using 4 springs. I actually have some extra ones over from the old body, the old Tremolo system. I think it probably works. I might go for 5th. Yeah. And then what you do is then you tighten these up here just a tad, just so that there's tension. This I strip just a little bit, so I have to be real careful. It's preferable to I gotta one-hand this there. Luckily I have an extra screw for this. Can take that one out, so actually there's not a lot of tension on that right now, so I'll have to fix that up. But yeah, and that in mind, it should actually, yeah, it makes it a little tighter, but it should still be bendable. I can always take, one spring off and put them, 3, and that's pretty much it for the tremolo. Alright, well, there's been a slight change of plans. I don't know if it's noticeable on this camera here. To the naked eye, believe it or not, it's harder, but cameras can sometimes pick stuff up. The other covers that came with the set here, and these are the new ones that I installed, you probably can see better on the camera than you can see in real life. I had to actually go to Jimmy's Music and get myself some genuine Fender Strat covers, because the other ones were 50mm, and I made the mistake of thinking this was a 52, 50, and 50. Nope, they're all 52s, and apparently that's pole spacing, by the way, and that's apparently what's standard. Now, they don't exactly match, obviously, from what you can see, but you know what? I can live with it. It looks great. It looks better than these two being, white. So, I'm happy with this. Now, next step is to simply solder everything up. So I got to fire up the soldering iron, which is under there. And that's going to be a boring process. So hopefully by the time I'll get this done within an hour. And then I'm going to screw everything in and wire everything up. And that should be it. For the body, at least. Well, I'm almost finished. Just one little problem. I keep stripping screws all the time. And I'm going to have to get a screw saver and get these little bastards out. I think I might have to. I think it's probably the bits on these cheapos. They keep digging into the screws, or poor quality screws. But the thing is that these, I think, they're pretty. They look like they're pretty high quality, but they're kind of hard to get by. I'm probably going to have to order some. Probably have to go on eBay to get this stuff. Need to get a bit and use my screwdriver. However, I was finally able to get the body all done here in the front. Well, let's see. Looks alright. Screwed up here though, because I, once again, was stripping these screws. Just don't know. That's kind of relatively easy to touch up. Go on YouTube and get a few videos. It's not important anyway. It's a couple of minor scratches. Also dinged the pick guard up here a little bit, scratch, but the nice thing about tortoiseshell is that scratches are not always apparent. But that's pretty much going to be it, because the thing that's right now stalling me is these fucking screws. Oh, I'm sorry. These effing screws. Not nearly as much tension as I'd like on this thing. This thing should be pretty tight. Mind you, there's no strings on this yet, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's whoops, sorry about that. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. Next video, I think is going to be part 6, and hopefully I'm going to just finish up the little things that are left on this, like the screws, and hopefully I'll get a screw saver and maybe buy some more screws. And I'm going to drill some holes on the neck and try and fasten the tuners in the headstock. And of course there's the decal to do as well, and hopefully that's going to go a lot more smoothly than this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, as usual, leave questions, comments, and suggestions below.